Hello, history buffs. Today I would like to share with you a little known and surprising fact about Leonardo da Vinci, the genius that everyone knows. Da Vinci is famous for the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, and the Vitruvian figure of the human body. But there are many surprising aspects to his life. Today, we will introduce in detail some surprising facts about Da Vinci that you won't find in textbooks. So, are you ready to travel back in time to the Italian Renaissance of the 15th century? Let's take a closer look at the hidden true face of Da Vinci. Da Vinci was left-handed and wrote in mirror letters from right to left. This was not just a quirk, but a device to make it difficult for others to read his notes. In Italy at that time, left-handedness was considered a mark of the devil, and it was common practice to have it corrected. However, Da Vinci remained left-handed and used it as an opportunity to create a unique writing style. His notes appeared at first glance to be an indecipherable cipher, but he used a remarkable technique in which they could be read normally when reflected in a mirror. This writing style also had practical advantages. If you write left-handed, the ink rubs against your hand and blurs. But if you write from right to left, you can avoid this. Furthermore, in Da Vinci's time, there was always the danger of new ideas being stolen. So the mirror script also served as a cipher to protect his innovative ideas. Amazingly, Da Vinci was a vegetarian more than 500 years ago. He believed that he could live without taking the lives of non-human animals. In Italy at that time, meat-eating was common and vegetarianism was virtually non-existent. His eating habits would have been looked at oddly by those around him. Da Vinci said, "My body will not become a graveyard of corpses." That's strong. It is believed that his diet consisted mainly of legumes, grains, vegetables, and fruits instead of animal protein. His zoophilia was not only evident in his diet, but also in his behavior. He would buy birds in cages at the market and release them directly into the air. This idea of Da Vinci's was born of his scientific observations and deep empathy. He studied the anatomical similarities between humans and animals and concluded that animals are just as capable of feeling suffering as we are. Da Vinci excelled not only in painting and science, but also in music. In particular, he was a master of a rare stringed instrument called the lilla da braccio. The lilla da braccio is the ancestor of the modern violin. Da Vinci was a master of improvisation and once performed at the court of Sforza, Duke of Milan. His musical talent was highly valued in Italy at the time. What is even more amazing is that he also invented musical instruments. He invented an instrument called the viola organista. It was an innovative instrument for its time, combining a keyboard and strings. For Da Vinci, music was closely linked to mathematics. He studied the relationship between sound vibrations and mathematical ratios, and used his findings in the design of his instruments. In his lifetime, Da Vinci dissected more than 30 human bodies and left behind precise anatomical drawings. This was a practice strictly forbidden by the church at the time. This is a similar image of his anatomical drawings. You can see that they are almost comparable to those in modern medical books. His anatomical studies began around 1489 and continued until his death. At first, he started dissecting for the sake of art, to accurately depict the muscles and skeleton of the human body. Gradually, however, pure scientific interest drove his passion to understand how the human body works. Through dissection, Da Vinci made many new discoveries. For example, he was the first to accurately describe the 4 chambers of the heart. He was also the first in the world to record the symptoms of arteriosclerosis. However, this research was accompanied by great difficulties. Dissection had to be done in secret, and embalming techniques were not yet developed, so the corpses quickly decomposed. Nevertheless, he continued his research and left behind hundreds of pages of detailed autopsy drawings and annotations. Although best known for the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, many of Da Vinci's works are actually unfinished. A perfectionist, he was never satisfied with his craft and abandoned many of his works halfway through. The famous Annunciation is actually an unfinished work. The details of the background were not completed. Francesco Melzi, a pupil of Da Vinci, said, "Leonardo started a lot and did nothing. Leonardo began much and finished nothing." There are several possible reasons for his inability to complete his work. One is his perfectionism. When he felt his technique wasn't up to par with his ideals, he abandoned his work. Another factor may be the breadth of his interests. Sometimes he would be in the middle of a painting when suddenly an idea for another invention would occur to him, and he would devote himself to that. In addition, his experimental techniques also made it difficult to complete his work. For The Last Supper, he experimented with new painting techniques, but as a result, the painting began to peel just a few years after its completion. Da Vinci left sketches of helicopters, tanks, robots, and other inventions that were unimaginable at the time. Many of his ideas were realized centuries later. He drew a device called an air screw, which is said to be the prototype for the modern helicopter. He conceived the idea for this vertical flying machine around 1485. The spiral sails were rotated at high speed to make them float in the air. It never came to fruition, but the principle was correct. He also designed tanks. It has cannons in all directions and is man-powered. It's not the same as a modern chariot, but the concept of an armored vehicle was invented more than 400 years ago. Da Vinci also had an idea for an automaton, or early robot. The automatic knight he designed was to be able to sit, stand, and move its jaws. Many of these inventions were not feasible at the time due to technical constraints. However, his ideas continue to inspire future generations of inventors. Da Vinci is called a genius, but he was actually not good at advanced mathematics. He said, "Mathematicians, do not teach me about your doctrines, for I confuse them all." Da Vinci received no formal education during his childhood, so he never had the opportunity to learn Latin or higher mathematics. He taught himself to acquire knowledge, but complex mathematical concepts were a constant challenge for him. However, this turned out to be a strength rather than a disadvantage for him. He was able to generate innovative ideas based on intuition and observation, without being constrained by mathematical constraints. Take, for example, his famous Vitruvian diagram of the human body. This is a geometric representation of the proportions of the human body. It is a masterpiece created by artistic intuition and close observation rather than mathematical rigor. Despite his weakness for mathematics, Da Vinci skillfully utilized the concepts of geometry and proportion. The perfect perspective in his paintings and the precise design of his inventions were the result of his unique visual mathematics. What did you think? Were you surprised by the surprising side of Da Vinci? A left-handed mirror writer, a 500-year-old vegetarian, a musical master, a passionate anatomist, an artist in search of perfection, an inventor with astonishing predictions of the future, and a genius who was not good at math but overcame it in his own unique way. Da Vinci's life teaches us the importance of creativity and curiosity, the courage to pursue one's interests and try new things without being bound by existing boundaries. Perhaps that was the true genius of Da Vinci. Why don't you all try to find and nurture the inner Da Vinci within you? If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. See you next time.